This On, Season 6, Episode 46, where we watch Wizard of Paws. Season 2, Episode 1. And I'm Chris Lorenz, and welcome to the Bionic Pod.
I'm just going to slide into my trike. This is Brian.
There's no place like home. This is Max.
If this is your first time listening, we watch a different reality show each week, discuss it in minute detail, figuring out if it's good or bad. And last week, we watched 19 and Counting, and we put up a poll on Twitter to figure out what you thought about the show. And you guys thought it was a bottom third show, which is what Brian and I thought. If you want to tell us what you thought about this show, you can go on Twitter at @WhoPutThisOn, and you can vote on our poll. Brian, what is this show? Yeah. Did you not listen to the podcast, Max?
No, I've been busy moving in. Anyway, what is this show, Brian?
Yeah, Brian.
This show is The Wizard of Paws. Animal prosthetics expert Derek Campana travels across the country to help animals with limited mobility. Through his organization Bionic Pets, Derek builds custom artificial limbs for dogs, goats, cows, and horses, and even elephants, so that they may overcome injury, deformity, or amputation. But it's not just the lovable critters that are changed forever. The families of the pets also find hope and healing through Derek's kindness and generosity. It's feel-good TV at its finest.
Thanks, Brian.
What channel is this on?
This is Disney Plus.
Or
That is a bald-faced lie. Both of those are wrong.
Wait.
It originally aired on Brigham Young University TV, BYU TV.
Oh, that's actually where I got the description from. BYUTV.org.
That's crazy because this dude this guy isn't in Utah, and
I looked it up. He's not even Mormon.
That's so weird. If you're not aware, Brigham Young University is a Mormon university, so that's why we're mentioning Utah and Mormons and why it's weird that this guy's in Virginia. And he's not Mormon, so it's kind of weird. Anyway, I think on paper, this sounds like a great idea. Okay, we're gonna go give pets prosthetics, and it'll be fun. You know, it's very positive. They come in, they get the thing, and they leave happy. But this show is like the epitome of what is wrong with reality TV or like network television. It is sob story central. It's like, this is a 20-minute show, and I think 15 minutes of it is just sob story.
It was insane.
It was so many things.
The host, so this is a 22-minute show, and the host did not meet like the subject until 10 minutes in. It was fucking insane.
Yeah. Well, so there's like a beginning part of the episode where you kind of meet him at his house in Virginia, and you meet the wife and the kids and the dog, Henry, or whatever.
What's his name? Derek?
Derek. Yeah. Derek. The wife's Kelly. And he's got Cole and Jack is their kids. If you want to stalk him, that's where you go. His last name is also Campania? You already said it. Whatever. Doesn't matter. So we see him, and they kind of sob it up as like, I'm going to miss my kids. I'm going to go. But the pets really need it.
Gotta do it for the pets.
Like the tone here is still very somber. So we're starting the show in a somber note. It's not like, we're going to go fix the pets. It's going to be great. I'll be back in a couple months. Have fun without me or whatever. No, it's like, I'm going to miss the kids. I want my kids. And I'm just like, we're going to miss my dad.
I would argue it's both. He's excited to go do his trade, and also, he's bummed to be leaving the family. Yeah, it's not just like...
They do say they're doing it for the pets. So they say they're doing it for the right reasons. We got to be here for the right reasons.
Of course.
But I still feel the tone might be a little more neutral than I'm saying, but it definitely doesn't start on like an upbeat note.
Sure.
And then you go see this family. So the dog name is Toto. Their grandparents are the ones that own Toto. I don't know what their names are because I didn't write them down.
It's like Elvin and Emmy, I want to say, but don't quote me.
Emmy seems right.
Yeah, and Elvin. So yeah, you got it.
And then Jen is their daughter. And then they have grandkids. Georgia is the grandkid that we see most in this. And then, so Toto apparently lost two of his front legs by some
Her.
sort of, factory farm machine.
Like a corn harvester.
Like, there was a
Probably
cornfield. There was some sort of machine that cut off the two legs.
Yeah, he got
poor
caught up
baby.
in it.
Yeah. I mean, that no matter how somebody like loses their limbs, that's going to be a sad moment in the show. Like, you bring up something sad, that's sad. Something sad happened to this dog. I definitely
That is
feel
a
for this dog.
valid reality show a sob story, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, this is about this sob story. This show is about this dog losing its legs and getting new legs.
So here's the thing I'm coming to realize right now. I think that maybe the producers didn't think it was that big of a sob story, so then they rolled with the kid's sob story.
No. Okay. So this has to be the reason this family is on this show has to be the amount of sob stories they have. So all right. So we got the grandparents, okay? 2018, I think they said, or 2019, unclear. They open an indoor park in Florida, and they have these like giant like balls you get into. You can hit each other. It's like sort of knock ball or soccer, giant human soccer ball or something. And that's like their thing at this place. And then COVID happens, so they have to close it. And we start the show with them in Pennsylvania, in Lancaster, where they have all the Amish people. So he's driving a truck. So we start the show with him driving this truck in Lancaster. And like, I don't know, 2/3 of the way, this is 2/3 of the way through the show, they're like showing like them at this Florida resort. I'm like, oh, this isn't good. Because you ain't in Florida. And you ain't driving a truck. So that sob story, like, one, I guess.
Well, no, the dog is number one.
Dog's number one. This is also a valid sob story, I think. Like, if it was a dog in this, I'd be like, okay with whatever
Sure.
you want to do. But
So wait, you're going to tell me a kid having leukemia is not a valid sob story?
This show's supposed to be about the pets. Like, why
Yeah.
we need to like
Then the granddaughter has some sort of chromosome disease that her legs are like really wide, and she has to wear prosthetic legs or like things on her legs to straighten them out so she can walk. I think that was the first sob story they told us. Was this thing? This sob story number 3.
Yeah, this is the first one they roll with, and it is a doozy.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, this dog needs thing. This this granddaughter needs like things. Perfect synergy. We got some synergy. She got success. The dogs have success. We're gonna be good. And then they immediately roll from this like story that it took a while to go through to she also had leukemia.
It's nuts. There's a lot going on in this episode.
Yeah, then she obviously survives leukemia because she's on the show, and like, but man, they take the mom here, which is the daughter, and like, it's just real sob-inducing story. Like you can feel her emotions through the TV, and it's like, I don't know if I need these emotions coming at me like this. There's just so much sob. It's at least 12 of the 22 minutes is just sob.
That's because there's not really that much to this show. The guy goes there, he makes a prosthetic, and everyone's happy. So they gotta spruce it up with the sob stories.
It is true. I think the point of the show is only like 5 minutes of this episode. There's like him like going in. He like takes a measurement of cast of the legs. That's like segment 1. And then there's like him in his truck and like see him kind of put it together a little bit, get the I don't know what Brian's doing. Anyway, then he's going to in his truck, and he puts this like pattern that the kid has on the these things he's making
on the cast or the prosthetic.
Yeah, the prosthetic he's making, and then like you see one more shot of like him making the prosthetic again. Then you see a shot of the prosthetic being put on the dog, and then the dog walking. There's like 4 shots here.
So, Chris, you're saying this would be better as a 5-minute episode?
This would we get to it, but this would be 100% a TikTok. This would be great as a TikTok. 3 minutes in and out. Let's do it.
I'm pretty sure I've seen TikToks like this.
If this show didn't start out as a TikTok, that'd be impressive. But yeah, so yeah, that's kind of the whole episode. It's like these 4 sob stories, unbelievable. This like brief making of the prosthetic, and then the dog taking a couple steps with the prosthetic.
And you also got some cool shots with Henry,
the other dog. Yes.
There is one sub story you missed, which is that they think, oh, if the kid sees the dog walking in prosthetics, she'll be inspired too. I don't believe that for a goddamn second.
I don't remember that plot point, but yeah, I wouldn't believe that at all. She's walking fine. I don't understand.
She needs to be inspired.
And of course she does.
It all circles back.
What else? The only other thing I remember happening in this episode is like Derek played this knockball thing in their backyard.
Yeah, because they
have
that was like one of the brightest moments. Like the last like 4 minutes of show are very positive. They're like playing this game, everyone's having fun, and then the dog gets the prosthetics on and then walks. Although I argue if the dog putting the prosthetics was a very happy moment, but like yeah,
afterwards it was. So yeah, they put the prosthetics on the dog, and it's honestly not very happy about it because it's very raw. This only happened 8 months ago.
2 months. It wasn't it 2 months?
Or,
8 weeks.
8 weeks. Yes, it happened very recently. So the dog isn't very happy about the prosthetics going on, but once they're on, the dog is like getting into it, feeling it. But it's and while he's getting the prosthetics on, Derek says to the camera, not every dog, not every animal likes their prosthetics. I mean, it must be so crazy to be this camera crew doing this whole thing, and then at the end of the episode you don't get any payoff potentially.
I feel like that's way overblown.
I mean,
there's got to be some tension. They're just adding tension to this whole thing.
Chris, you've never put boots on a dog. Sometimes they will refuse to do anything.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that this will never happen, but I would also say this if I was trying to like ratchet up that tension.
True.
And if this dog doesn't accept these prosthetics, he just goes back to the drawing board and we get a fucking better episode.
Clearly, this show needs like 2 prosthetics per episode, I think.
No, then yeah.
Or like 2 animals per episode.
So, what we didn't mention was that we're doing season 2, episode 1. I'll put that in. Oh. I'll edit that in. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I got it. But if I forget here, it's now. Because who knows what season 1 could have been more than 1. Like the production like budget for something on Brigham Young University might be a little lower than Disney Plus / Discovery, so who knows? But yeah, this episode, at least season 2 is one animal per episode, and it's clearly they don't have enough footage.
Definitely not. They were stretching it so much. Silly Putty could take a lesson.
Yeah. Whoever the producers are on the show, the production, you're not really, it's just not for us. Some people love the sob story, I have to imagine, because there's a lot of sob stories on television and I roll my eyes every time. Like people still watch the Olympics. Insanity.
Speaking of people who love the sob stories, I'd like to introduce a new segment called "Let's Guess What Noah Rated This."
So he sent you. He sent you the rating.
No, I don't know what the rating is.
Oh, he hasn't sent me the rating.
Oh shit!
Ryan,
okay,
ping him for this rating.
Oh.
I think I'm gonna go middle third.
I think it's going to be a top of the middle for him.
Okay. Should we get to question like what other minutia do we have to go through here? Like anything?
There's 22 minutes of nothing. I learned about a clamshell design for prosthetics.
I mean, that prosthetic looked pretty good. Like,
Yep.
that guy, I don't know if he's the top animal dude, but like he's pretty good. He made a really good prosthetic. Like that dog seemed like he was, it really fit with that dog like right away.
Dude, he's got a thing called Bionic Dogs. You don't roll with that name without being
Bionic
good.
Pets.
Bionic Pets.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he did a great job. Other episodes are about like not dogs. There's a couple about like goats and like I think there was like a deer or some sort of fawn at some point.
I can't wait to see Henry with a fawn.
He also, so get this, Max. So like they claim he goes from Virginia to Pennsylvania, right? The next episode's in North Carolina. Okay. Then they go to like Maine. Then they go to Ohio. Oh, kind of reasonable. You're going to go everywhere, but like seems pretty far to like film these episodes. Then they go to California. Like, I'm like, is he driving this thing across the country? Okay, sure, whatever. There's like 3 or 4 episodes there. But then Max, he goes to Hawaii.
Oh shit! I mean,
Henry in Hawaii is gonna be great.
Like, how's he getting this thing to Hawaii?
Is his mobile lab
I have
in
no
Hawaii?
idea. No, I don't know, because the pictures are the animals. Not.
We're just gonna have to watch it and find out.
You're just to watch those episodes, Max, and report back. So I'm very curious. I mean, it would be crazy to me if they paid to get that thing delivered to Hawaii and back.
No, like he's just getting a plane ticket, dude.
I know, but like, it could happen, Brian.
Oh.
All right, let's do some questions here. Who's the worst human being? Is it COVID or leukemia?
Damn, that's like,
any no takers on that one?
Well, actually, I think the worst human being is Toto because Toto is not a human being. Hence, the worst at being a human being.
Oh, yeah, it's very Taskmaster style.
Yes, sir.
Corn harvesters, fuck them.
The corn harvester, it's a good one. Whoever's driving the corn harvester, whether they meant to or not,
Yeah,
could be. Do you think this is the apex of this host? Is this like peak?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. He was also featured on Animal Planet's Dodo something. Hold on. Dodo Heroes in 2018.
That's a great name.
But was he the host?
Probably not.
I mean, this is his show. It's obviously his apex.
Yeah.
I don't really. Is there any other internet corners you got about the host here?
Nothing.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't seem like he knows a lot, there would be a lot on him.
Oh, actually, you know what? I do have one thing. He attended the Pennsylvania State University.
Oh, what? Fellow grad. So he didn't even go to Brigham Young? How did this show come about?
I don't know, man, but I think that was a good little internet corner right there.
That was great.
They're good. Yeah, we're missing Noah and his internet corners. Really, see what's happening now. What do you think the production schedule of the show is like?
Like 4 days to drive from here to California, another 7 days to take the boat to Hawaii. I don't fucking know.
I mean, like, how long do you think he's at this house? Is this a day-long process?
Literally, yeah. I think making the prosthetic is very easy.
Yeah, it's unclear if you have to, like, if things have to set overnight. Sometimes these, like, plasters, like, making these casts isn't, like, something, any less.
I think it's 2 days. I think you gotta have, like, some room for, like, some outtakes and stuff. It's
Or
buffer time.
or
It's dogs.
or like, the first one doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Like there's no way this first one doesn't work out and then they leave. Like they need to get some shots of this dog moving.
Mhm. Yeah. So it's really indeterminate for like some of these like recovery things, but I think for the most part, it's like 2 days.
And there's 10 episodes. So that's what, 20 days if you budget to, but then you got travel time in there.
Oh yeah, like the whole season's running for a while as he
Yeah,
travels
like
that
two
truck around.
months. 2 months.
Yeah.
Especially if they get that thing to Hawaii.
Oh man, I can't wait to see that one.
All right, so let's do what do we got next? Let's do some drinking rules. Let's do it. Obviously for this one, any sob story, just take a drink. Drinks, maybe. Max, you got a drinking rule?
Did anything else happen in this episode? Oh, tell you what, every time you see the TV crew so bored with their job that they're off goofing around, take a drink.
Brian?
Every time Henry's on the screen, take a drink.
Oh, that's a good one. I was definitely trying to think more like animals. Like,
Yeah.
if you really want to take it to the next level, you could take a drink every time you see an animal, not just Henry.
Yeah, that's death, Chris.
Well, like each scene doesn't have that many animals, and there aren't that many scenes in this episode.
That's
like,
fair.
I'm not saying like every time they switch camera angle. Like, I don't know. You do whatever you
No, that's fair.
Is there anything Derek does that you should take a drink for?
I mean,
Anytime Derek ratchets up the tension, like not all dogs will take this, or like, stuff like that.
Sure.
anytime there's a belly rub, take a drink.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh,
This is
that is a good one.
Not sure how many belly rubs are going to be the one with a goat, but
Yeah, but the elephant maybe that'd be really crazy.
here you go. Anytime that the animal accepts the prosthetic, finish a drink.
Yeah, you got to cheers for that
Okay.
too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Would this show be better as a Quibi? And I think we've
Clearly,
already
yes.
answered this, and we said yes. Like, there's 15 minutes of fluff at minimum in this show. So there you go. Who's gonna hook up next?
Toto's gonna be banging.
Toto and Elvin.
Oh no.
Oh no.
All right, let's do. What do you love about this show, Max? Tell me.
I loved Toto. Toto was a great dog, real sweetheart. 10 out of 10 dog.
Brian, what about you? What do you love about this show?
Max, I'm really surprised that you did not say I love that this is only 22 minutes.
I had something else I could work with for a change.
Well, in that case, that's not mine.
That's yours, Brian. Okay. I love that the show is like, I know the show's a little somber, but I think at the end of the day, it just, you're doing good in the world. You get to see somebody get helped. Like, it's just the concept of the show is so good that the concept is what I love about the show. I think it delivers, just like with a lot of extra stuff that doesn't really work. I really wish it would be more positive, but I think it is positive at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a little like bittersweet, or melancholy, happy,
Like, you gotta persevere. There's some sort of perseverance like aspect of the show, which maybe that's what the sob stories are supposed to like be about, because it's not like they're sitting in squalor. They're like, yeah, it's fine. We closed the place. We're coming up here. We're driving trucks now. It's like it's like a very positive twist of something that is obviously not positive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one thing of like, you have cancer and like you beat the cancer. That's 100% like positive, right? But like this girl has some weird chromosome disease, and it's like, well, that's not solved. There's like, but they're treating it as a very positive thing that like, oh, she's walking now and she's a happy young child. Like it's definitely like a sense of perseverance in this show. Whether, it's very like sets a tone very well, obviously it does not, but that's just our opinion, I think.
Yeah.
So let's do our last question where we do ratings. So we rate against other reality shows. We rank them in a top, middle, bottom, third. Some people rank in their rankings. So, Max, what do you got for me?
We talked a lot of shit about the show, but we've seen so much worse, and it was so short that I'm going to give it a middle third. I'm torn. Probably going to say bottom of the middle.
What do you got for me, Brian?
I'm going to go with middle of the middle. Like, this felt like a show that I could really just tune in, like, occasionally to see some cute dogs. I'm okay with sob stories, even though, like, they're all over the place. It sucks that there was so much of it, though.
You know what? I'm going to bump up to middle of the middle as well.
Okay, there you have it. I'm gonna agree it's middle third. Like, I think this show 100% has the potential to be a top third show, but it needs to be like 2 to 3 stories, and like it needs to be at his house, and there needs to be more stuff going on. This like road trip bullshit, not good. And like one animal per episode, you just don't have enough content for that. So
Well,
it's fine. It's very watchable. It's got the right like overall perseverance kind of theme going through, which is positive. So I'm gonna put it in the middle. That's where it goes.
maybe other episodes will be a little different. Like, this one just seemed like an intro to the season 2, so, let's see.
I mean, then each description made it seem like it was still only one
Yeah,
animal
no,
per
but, like,
episode.
other animals might still have more content enough to fill it up properly.
I just don't imagine that ever being possible.
This animal has 2 missing limbs. This animal has 3.
Like this, you already had 2 missing limbs.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know what else you were gonna do. Anyway, are we ready for the results of our Noah's rating here? So Noah
Yes.
sent me his
Yeah.
rating, and I am gonna read this verbatim. Top of the top. I mean, how could this be anything less?
I kind of suspected that. I wanted to give him benefit of the doubt, but
I feel
what?
like
Noah, have at it, buddy. You enjoyed this? Keep that. That's special. That's for you.
I don't know. I feel like we got. It's tough for me to be like, not pause this and call him, but he's busy and we can't do that. But like, as I said, I think there's a contingent of this country that likes sob stories and will love this show, and Noah must be one of them.
As I said, speaking of people who love sob stories, what do we think Noah's rating is going to be?
Like, if you love a sob story, the show is money. There's no way you wouldn't put this at top of the top.
Benefit of the doubt. Maybe he watched season 1, episode 1. Maybe he didn't get the message.
Maybe. That, as I said, I think that the right formula for the show is like the Dr. Pimple Popper formula. Like, it's just have 2 to 3 guests, like people come in, show the problem, solve the problem, like not like let's sit with a family for like 15 minutes. Like, no one wants that.
Max, to your point, I looked at like the screenshot for season 1, episode 1, and it is a little Sebastian being held by somebody whose name is Lightning.
We'll have to get to the truth of the matter.
Yeah, this is all Max's fault for not having Disney Plus.
Maybe you should get BYU TV Plus, okay?
All right. So that's the end of our discussion of Wizard of whatever.
The Wizard of Paws.
Hey, Chris, what's going on in the Chris Lee cinematic universe?
Oh my God.
Oh,
you can't mention the names to us. Okay. So there's a long history. We watched Crisley Knows Best. It's a reality show. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's like huge. They've had 9 seasons or something, or 10 seasons or something.
Too many.
And we watched one, but I think Brian watched more than one episode, and it's bottom of the bottom tier garbage. It was awful. Like 150% fake. Like every single scene was terrible acting. I wouldn't even call it reality. It's just like a bad acting class.
I think you're right that I did watch more than one episode, and I watched the same episode more than once.
I remember you were like, well, I'm going to watch another one just to see if it's just as bad. And it was. That's what I remember. But Brian and I argued a whole hell of a lot on our season finale of that season to get that on the bottom of the bottom. Like, our bottom third for that season. I forget what won out, but it wasn't that. But apparently, Grizzly is arrested for tax fraud and tax evasion. He was in some sort of Ponzi scheme where he would get loans, and then when the loans were about due, he'd get another loan, and he would lie to get about how much money he had to get these loans, which is what his tax evasion or whatever he's getting arrested for is that's part of it.
So like he's fucked.
Oh yeah, his show is renewed. Like his new season of his show starts in a couple weeks, and he was renewed for a whole nother season of the show before he's arrested. Which obviously he's gonna go to jail up to 30 years or something. Whether I don't know what the minimum is, but
I think this really raises a question of, does he know best?
Sure, if you're trying to live some sort of Ponzi scheme life. The problem is, okay, so you're running this Ponzi scheme, right? You get a loan, then you do it a couple times, you got this nice rich house, you get a fucking reality show. Stop. Pay the loans and move on. You did it. Way to go. Instead, you just get more loans and you get caught in this whole thing.
Wait, so over how many years did this take place?
I don't know the specifics. That specific.
I feel like it ran for a little while.
No, I think the whole reason they got the show is because they started doing this.
Really? Okay.
Because that's how they got that house. It's how they looked like they were rich, but he didn't really do anything. Did you see him have a job on that episode?
No, I didn't see him do shit. I was just done.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was reading about. Some of the Reddit comments are he never did any job. I don't there's no, but they looked really rich. So I feel that's exactly how this happened.
I mean, the show is his job, though.
Yeah, I mean at that point. But most reality shows, to have content, they have side hustles. They're trying to make more money, and he's not. He has a way to make more money, and it's not legal.
Maybe he should start selling Chrisley juice.
Chrisley NFTs, baby.
Woo! Now get in while it's down. Get in the market. Get all the NFTs. There's some other news.
Crispto.
So Rob, one of our former hosts, was you got to do one of these Grizzly. So Grizzly has 2 other shows or something.
Oh yeah.
And we're absolutely not. We cannot. Especially after last week, which we already kind of talked about that. We don't talk about that again. But definitely not this kind of show we want to, do again. I mean, we could do Jail Month, but we decided not to.
I might be in for that though.
We already screwed up Jail Month. The other thing to talk about a little bit is the challenge. So we haven't talked about the challenge in a while, but if you've listened for a long time, you know that Harrison and James are, the biggest challenge fans ever, and we've all been kind of watching it. And now there is a challenge. I'm assuming is a spinoff, but it's on CBS now. Challenge USA, and it has all the people. All the people are kind of new. They're from Survivor, the House one, Big Brother, and Love Island. They're all just kind of trying to get a bigger demographic, pull in the CBS audience to watch the show. Max, what do you think about this show? Is it gonna be any good?
I think the challenge does better when you have some anchor you can grab on to keep you interested in the show. And for me, I don't recognize a single person there except probably TJ. So who fucking knows? But the amounts of Survivor people bodes well.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. Sometimes there's a Big Brother crew in the challenge, right? And they can do okay. So I would say the Survivor people definitely seem like they'd have a leg up. But the challenge is still kind of a social game, and Big Brother, it's hard to say because Survivor is a huge social game, but Big Brother, that's the only thing it is. So I think it'll be interesting. It's kind of I'm kind of curious if they're doing another regular challenge again. Like they got Challenge All Stars on Paramount Plus. Then they got this challenge on CBS. Like, what is
But
another challenge on MTV going to do?
They are
I'm
doing
sure
those
they
though.
will.
Yeah, they're already filming it. Like
I
right
don't
now.
know. I don't know. That's what I was just curious. I'm also not up on my challenge news, so like, what do I know?
Yeah, sorry. They may have been like blocking it. Like I look at it, but I also don't care to share it.
So you knew this was coming, and you just decided
Yes, I
not
did.
to bring it up on our challenge Slack.
Yes, I did.
Okay, thanks, Brian. You also didn't make any comments for today, so you already did you comment on Reddit? Is that your challenge community?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
Much more realistic.
Much more realistic about how good the challenge is or how bad
Yes.
the challenge is.
Like there's a lot of hype with some of the people in that thread.
I mean, the Survivor subreddit seemed to be pretty hyped about the show. I mean, I think it'd be good. But like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm not a huge fan of the challenge, as if you've listened for a long time. Like, it can be good and it can be bad. They drag it out a lot. Sometimes they don't have a challenge and an elimination in one episode, which seems like heresy to me. And that's just like, that really bothers me. Anyway, should we do shout outs? Shout outs?
Yeah.
Brian,
The
what kind of
boys.
shout outs you got?
The boys. Go watch it.
What about them?
Season 3's out. Or
You're
season 3
hanging out with the boys. What do you mean?
Well, yeah, you guys made an awesome TV show. And they released like the first few episodes on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, The Boys season 3 on Amazon Prime. I've watched 2 episodes. It's pretty good. Excited. Max, you got a shout outs?
I have a non-recommendation. For some reason, I was bored one day and started watching some fantasy garbage on Netflix called Shadow and Bone. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's mindless fantasy garbage. It's kind of interesting in that the fantasy world is kind of like Tsarist Russia, so that's cool. If you're bored,
I watched it. It's definitely, you gotta like fantasy to really get into it. It's based on a book, so it's like it's got some bones to it. It's not just kind of hot garbage.
it's in the
But it
name.
is, yeah, it's true. So take it for what it will. It's not Game of Thrones. It's not going to get you into it. It's like it's pretty deep. You know, I think for my shout out, I guess Kenobi is still going on. Is it Kenobi or Obi-Wan? What's the name of the show?
Obi-Wan
Cookie
Kenobi,
Bomb.
Whatever. So we talked about how we're just kind of not excited about the show. So now 3 episodes are out, and I think this could pose a really good bridge between episode 3 and episode 4, because like you end episode 3 and everything's like everything's falling apart, but in episode 4 everything's like destroyed. Like the bottom is out. There's no like falling action into like how is the world actually being destroyed? How evil is this? Like just because you have an emperor doesn't mean you're evil. Like that's one of my biggest problems with like Star Wars, especially bridging that gap. So like I'm kind of excited that like you actually get to see what's going on in like the Empire around a time that I feel is like making this gap much better in my eyes. So we'll see if they land it. I'm not going to say go watch it. I'm just saying like the first 3 episodes were good. They're like doing the things I needed to do. So we'll see if they land the ending the way I need them to. But I'm way more optimistic than I was before.
Okay. How many episodes are out?
There's 3 or 4 now, and there's 6 total.
Okay. I don't really trust most of Disney's TV series.
Yeah, I mean the Marvel shows have not been great, but they have a lot of hype. So there's a lot of just kind of like hyped up expectations, and then just kind of them shows being they're good shows. They're just like you expect them to be great shows, and that's not really the expectation you want. But like Mandalorian's a good show, Boba Fett's not a good show. So it's like you're 50-50. So like if this ends up being a good show, it's like Star Wars could have a better track record in their shows than Marvel does.
You know how there was this like throwaway, vaguely Han Solo type character in Rogue One, and now they're doing a spin-off of him for some fucking reason. Who wants that? Who's that for?
Yeah, I think you were talking about that. Is that we talked about how like Star Wars just loves to fill in all these gaps that don't need to be filled in. As I said, I think the Kenobi show is filling in a gap that I think is actually useful, but like Mandalorian isn't filling in a gap that I find particularly useful. It's like between 6 and 7, and you're not even like nothing has to do with 7.
Yeah,
so
but Mandalorian is like shockingly good. It's been
it's just ignoring everything, but it is like a prequel to things. But like, yeah, the guy that does all the TV or the animated shows is doing all the shows now. He loves these gaps. He's been doing the Clone Wars forever. He did Rebels. He did Resistance. He did the Clone Wars, or not Clone Wars, the Bad Batch or something. And they're all just filling in these weird gaps that, like, sure, he can write a book about or like a comic about, but at the end of the day, like, I don't really need
nobody
to see
gives a shit.
Like, just give me. As I said last week, is like we just need give me a compelling news story. Like, let it like flow. It's hard to flow when you're crammed in between all these things and you know the outcome of these people.
Gotta do the Old Republic.
And their plan is to do the High Republic, from what I can tell.
It's shitty garbage, as far as I'm concerned. In any case.
Anyway, on that note, we'll let you go. You can find us on Twitter at Who Put This On. Vote in our poll. You can find us on TikTok on Who Put This On Podcast, where Brian and I have been reviewing lip balm on there. So that's kind of fun. It's good content. Kind of doesn't fit in with this, but watch it.
No, it does. Who put the lip balm on?
Who put the lip balm on? Why'd you put the lip balm on? Who told you to put the balm on? I didn't tell you to put the balm on. You can find us on facebook.com/whoputthison. You can email us questions and suggestions at whoputthison@gmail.com. And we'll see you next time. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful wizard of Paws. Ba 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 ba.